Today, my guest is a very special one. He's somebody who's played 54 times for two countries. So he's one of those unique cricketers who's represented Namibia and South Africa during his international career. He's a regular pick, very popular amongst franchises all around the globe. He's played in the PSL and many other leagues as well. He's a two-times winner with Lahore Qalandars, and he's one of the most popular players at Lahore Qalandars and in the Pakistan Super League. Welcome to David Wiese.
Hi, thank you. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, no problem, David. It's nice to be chatting with you. Let's start with 100, which is a tournament that you're playing in at the moment. Is it a tournament you think that can catch on around the world, or is it just unique to England?
Yeah, that's a tough one to say because, like I said, it is really unique. There's nowhere else in the world do they play this format. And it's been very popular since it started up in the UK. Every single time when we play a game, we just see that there's a new record cloud set for that venue where we're playing at. So it's been very well received in the UK. I think it's also created a bit more of a buzz and a bit more of an interest for cricket in the UK. I see there's a lot more younger people coming to watch the game here now. There's people who haven't really engaged much in cricket is now getting interested in the game. So I think it's been awesome for cricket in the UK. Whether it's going to catch on around the whole world or not sure about that. There's so many T20 comps going on in the world, and there's so many countries that have their own T20 competition that I don't know if there's any space left in the calendar for another 100-ball competition. But with the popularity that it's had over here, you never know. Maybe in the next couple of years there could be another country or so that gives a go at the whole 100-ball concept.
You mentioned about many leagues around the world. It must be a blessing for the likes of yourself.
Yeah, I must say, it is a good time to be a T20 cricketer. I do feel at some stage this bubble is going to burst and it's all going to come crashing down. I mean, there's so many leagues going on. I don't know how sustainable it can be to have multiple leagues running at the same time, and it just feels like everybody's trying to get their finger in the pie at this stage. But it's such a popular sport, and everybody plays it all over the world. So at this stage, they're trying to make it work. Just hope that international cricket doesn't really suffer due to the rising number of franchise tournaments, but that's for the ICC to sort out. That's for the home boards to try and come up with a solution with that. But in terms for someone like me who's a little bit older now in my career and coming towards the end, it's a good time to be playing T20 cricket at the moment.
Tell us a little bit about Namibia. Obviously, people have been following their progress with interest. Is cricket growing in Namibia, and can they become one of the better sort of underrated teams?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been growing over the last couple of years. I think the more successful your national team is, the more interest is going to be, and then the more people are going to try and emulate that success. Since we did well in the T20 World Cup in Dubai 2 years ago, qualifying for the Super 12 stages, that just piqued a lot of interest in the country, and you saw a lot more younger people playing the game. A lot more kids going out, joining clubs. So there's definitely been a rise in the interest, but also, it's so tough because Namibia is, it's a vast country, but it only has about 2 million people in it. So, there's not a lot of resources there. It's still going to take a long time to develop the game where we can actually start competing against the bigger test nations. But I feel, the strides that we've taken over the last couple of years, it's shown that if we put in the effort and we use our resources well, we could be competing against other teams. I mean, we saw UAE beating New Zealand a couple of days ago, and that just shows you, the level of associate cricket nowadays. It is catching up a little bit to the test nations, and especially in the T20 game where the shorter the format, anything could happen on the day. So I'd like to think that over the next couple of years, Namibia can cause a couple more upsets. We could shock a couple more teams, and hopefully just get more opportunities to play against better teams.
Speaking of leagues around the world, as I said in my introduction, you're a legend of the Pakistan Super League, no doubt about that. You've played there for a number of years. How does the PSL compare with some of the other leagues that you're playing in?
Yeah, PSL is it's an amazing league to be a part of. From the the fans that are so, they're so passionate about the game. You're going there, you're always having the support. You always feel like your fans are backing you. They never let it criticize you for anything. They just really enjoy the game, and they're just so happy and appreciative that you're actually coming to Pakistan to play there. There was a long time where there was no cricket no international cricket in Pakistan, and the people there were really starved for that quality cricket. So for us to go over there now the last couple of years and play there, they just really, that's the first thing I've noticed, that they just really appreciate the fact that you're going there and you're willing to go there and play cricket, and allowing them to go and watch the game. And then the other thing that you see every single year is that every single time you think you've seen everybody and you know what there's going to be, and then some team comes up with some young talent, and multiple teams that have some young talented guys coming through, whether it's from tape ball cricket or just somewhere there just seems to be an abundance of talent in Pakistan. Like I said, every single year you think, okay, I've played against these guys, I know these guys are going to bowl fast and these guys are going to whack it, so you kind of think you have your bases covered, and then you get there and then there's some new kid on the block that just comes and smashes it, or bowls absolutely rockets at your head again, and then you got to try and deal with that. So there's an abundance of talent in Pakistan, and the PSL has really done well to showcase that over the last couple of years.
PSL is well known, as you've mentioned there, for fast bowlers. Do you think that's the strong point of the PSL?
Yeah, I think definitely. If you're looking at every single team over there, you'll have at least three guys that are clocking 90 miles an hour, and then one mystery spinner and one left arm wrist spinner, and then an all-rounder. It's just like every single team has got all their bases covered. I think it must come from so much tape ball cricket that gets played in Pakistan. There's got to be something that they learn when they're young to just bowl absolute gas, because from every single year, like I said, you think that you're going there, and Haris Rauf is the quickest that you're going to face there. Then all of a sudden you get there, and the next year there's Isanullah that comes in and bowling absolute gas again, and then we got Zaman Khan that's also unique, and there's just so much talent over there that every single year you just unearth this new gem that Pakistan has there.
And how do you feel about being nicknamed Murshad?
Look, I think it's a big compliment, to be honest with you. If people see me as like that type of teacher, mentor type of thing, that means that I've had an impact on them, and I've been able to do something right. It's actually it's funny because it started off just as a Lahore thing that everyone just called me Murshad, and then all of a sudden everybody does it, even opposition, even guys. When I played for Yorkshire this year, Shan Masood was our captain, and he started calling me Murshad. Like it's a nickname that's caught on through Pakistan, and all the players just started calling me that also. And like I said, I take it as a big compliment. I think for somebody to keep you in such high regard, to call you that, it's got to be a little feather in your cap.
And when you joined Lahore Qalandars, you must have been wondering, what am I joining this team for? They finish bottom almost every season, and they struggle season after season. Yet you guys have turned it around in this last 2 years. What's been the reason for this fantastic change and turnaround?
Yeah, I think first of all, I'll always be appreciative to Lahore Qalandars and the whole franchise and the owners, everything, because our came into the Qalandars team as a replacement, a little bit in the wilderness, wasn't playing so many franchise tournaments, and they put their faith in me, and I had a good tournament when I started off with them, and they've just retained me ever since, and they've really trusted me with a lot of responsibility in the team, and and that for me has helped grow my game, and it's almost helped me to become a better player, and because of that I've now played a lot more tournaments, and it's kind of just kick-started my career. So Lahore Qalandars always be a special place for me, and the fact that we've been able to be so successful over the last couple of years, I think what the management did from the start, and I mean, talking about the team owners, I mean, Salman, he's a very close friend of mine, and we've really we've grown a close friendship over the years, and what he's done really well is that he's just backed his people from the start. I mean, you've seen we've had the same coaching staff from the start. We've had the same players year in, year out. Even when we were finishing bottom of the log and everybody called us the whipping boys of the PSL, and everybody just wanted to come take points against us the whole time. we stuck with the same guys who had this vision of having locally produced players, having the guys out of the PDP program and the Qalandars Academy coming through there. And, that was their belief and that was their vision for what Lahore Qalandars was going to be. And, they just showed that faith in their players, picking up guys like Haris Rauf out of the PDP program. Shaheen was still a young kid. I think he was a 17-year-old when he started playing for the Qalandars. Then even having guys like Zaman who's been there, he's been a stalwart over the years. And we've just seen young guys coming through, Abdullah Shafiq. There's so much talent that's come through Qalandars, and that's just because they've identified them early. And, maybe at the start when we were still very inexperienced, other coaches, other teams could have been like, listen, we can't keep losing like this. We need to change the personnel. But, they stuck with their guns. They stuck with the vision that they had, and they stuck with the players that they believed were going to be champions one day. And, fair play to them. It's all come together. And, over the last 2 seasons now, I think, we've been, probably the best team. I know we've won the trophy twice now, but overall, I think we've just been the most consistent team over the last 2 seasons, also in the PSL, and that's just a feather to the entire Qalandars family and what they've done with the team over the last couple of years.
What are your thoughts on Shaheen Shah Afridi as skipper? Obviously, fairly inexperienced in terms of captaincy, and I think you're one of his go-to guys for advice. Do you see him as a future international captain?
Yeah, the one thing that struck me with Shaheen when he first started captaining is that, we all knew he was going to be young. He's a young captain. He would have to learn and, but I immediately realized that his natural instincts for the game was quite good. He would just have this natural instinct on, I should bowl this guy now, or I should do this. And he always trusts his instincts. And that was amazing for me to see that, most of the time tactically he was correct with the decisions that he made. He almost would come to me just for reaffirmation about things. He would always make the right decision. He'll just almost come to me to just almost find out in his mind that he is making the right decision. So for me, my main role that I saw with Shaheen was just to keep him calm. Is the one thing, because he was still young. And being an opening bowler, fast bowlers, sometimes they're quite unique people. So, you can sometimes lose your cool. So for me with Shaheen, it was always just that, just try and keep him calm, keep him in the moment and just, keep reminding him that his instincts are right. He's got great game awareness and he just needs to go with his gut the whole time.
And what about the paces? At the Lahore Qalandars, we're seeing Zaman Khan now playing for Pakistan. We've seen him playing English county cricket as well. How good is he? How good can he be?
Yeah, I think Zaman is unique in his own way. You don't get guys anymore that's got that Malinga type sling to him, and he's very consistent with what he does. He barely ever misses a Yorker. He's quick. He's got a quick bouncer. He's got a deceptively quick bouncer. People think because he's so short that he's not going to be able to bounce him, but it works to his advantage because it almost feels like the ball's still going up on you when it's actually getting to you. So he's actually rushed guys for pace, and we've just seen him. It's so funny by Qalandars. We always say we've got the first over specialist and we've got the last over specialist because year in year out. Shaheen's gone and taken the first over and done the job for us, and then Zaman comes and takes that last over. I don't know where, what he's done in his life, but he is the coolest, calmest character I've ever seen. Bowling those last overs, nothing phases him. The last final, we had to defend 13 runs in the last over. You could just see that he wasn't like phased by it. It was like he just knew, he backed his skills and he knew he was going to nail it. And we were a little bit on edge, and he was the one who was now reassuring us and just calm and he's unbelievable skill for what he does, just to nail those Yorkers consistently the whole time. And I think he's going to have a bright future for Pakistan over the next couple of years.
Just a word on Haris Rauf, somebody who you're quite keen to face in the nets, David.
Well, ever since he concussed me in the World Cup, I kind of shy away from him. We had a little inside joke when we played against him in the World Cup, is that he said to me in warm-ups that Stameen, our owner of the Qalandars, told him that he wasn't allowed to bounce me in that game, and then actually he bounced me and he and he hit me very hard on the head. So I always remind him about that he bullied me a little bit. But yeah, he's one of the best T20 bowlers in the world, and yeah, his skill set is also so unique to be able to bowl so quick, but then have such a good change of pace and nail those Yorkers. I must say I do not face them in the nets. I don't. I do value my life, so I don't face those guys in the nets. But it's a lot nicer having him on your team than having to play against him, I must say.
And finally, on the PSL, hat-trick of wins next year?
Uh, you'd like to think so. You never know. It was never done that a team actually defended their title, and then we did it this year. I don't foresee too many changes in our team. Zaman Khan is now obviously he's an international player, so he can no longer be our emerging player. So we're going to have to find an emerging player somewhere. But I'm not too concerned about that because, like I said, the talent that the Qalandars find in their PDP programs and in the academy there, I'm sure they'll unearth some emerging talent that's going to take the world by storm again. And we're just a settled team, and we are a team that enjoys each other's successes. There's no egos in the team or anything. Everybody just wants to do well for the Qalandars family, and I don't foresee there being many changes. So why not? We can go in and we just keep doing what we're doing. We could win the trophy 3 times, but like saying there's a big bullseye on our back being now. So we're gonna try and come up with plans to beat us. So we're gonna have to be sharp when it comes to that tournament next year. But it's a exciting tournament again to be involved in.
And finally, the World Cup is later this year. David, in India, any predictions regarding who's going to win that tournament?
Sure. Putting me on the spot here, to be honest. 50 over cricket. I always say the shorter the format, the more any team can win on the day. But 50 over cricket, generally the better team wins. The team that plays better cricket wins on the day. India is always going to be they're always going to be tough to beat. For some reason, Australia in ICC events, they always just up there. They always seem to hit form at the right time. New Zealand have been up there over the last couple of years also. I think they've got a slightly younger team, and they might be missing that experience that Kane Williamson will bring. So, they could have an interesting time. Even South Africa. I mean, South Africa, not many people are actually speaking about them at this stage. But if you look at the team and look at the players that we have there, we probably stand toe to toe with most of the teams. If you look at our bowling attack with Lebaden, Nokia, Ngidi, Marco Jansen, Shamsi, and then the batting, Quinny de Kock, Heinrich Klaassen's come good now over the last couple months. Aiden Markram. We stand toe to toe with some of the best teams. So, I'm hoping that South Africa can put in some good performances and maybe get rid of this tagline that they've had over the last couple of years in ICC events.
Well, David, many thanks for your time. Really appreciate that. Wish you all the best for the future in whatever you do with the remainder of your career in franchise tournaments, etc. And good luck for the PSL and all your good work at Lahore Qalandars as well. Many thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.